Tell me about rear routing.
Rear routing. The difference between rear routing and front routing is, okay, like this is front routed, this guitar. Front routing is when you route a cavity in the face of the instrument, and then you take your little controls, your little pots and switches, and you mount those into a plate, a shaped plate, which then mounts into the onto the face of the instrument. That's front routing. And rear routing is if you don't want that visual aspect on it, and you route it from the back, like that has a cavity in the back, and inside that cavity, the controls go through holes in the face of the instrument where a plate would be, and it just cleans up the look a little bit. Some people like the shaped plates as design elements. I like that. I think it can really bring something to it. But some people, especially if you're using really expensive, wild, weird-looking wood, they like the maximum amount of that wood exposed. By the way, we should let people know this is episode 1 of Beer and Bullshit, and where Camera Chris is asking me questions, we're just talking about stuff. He has a little index card with a few ideas on it to ask me, and I don't know what they are. And today we are drinking Shiner birthday beer, chocolate stout, celebrating 106 years of their brewery. And it's a very chocolatey stout. It's in fact the chocolatiest stout of all chocolatey stouts I've ever. It tastes like birthday cake. Okay, there you go. But it's damn good birthday cake, and it's beer birthday cake. So sips. What do you think of the beer? Pretty good?
Tastes like I just ate some cake.
Nice. Hey, let me eat cake. Cool. Yeah, so that's the difference between front route and rear route.
Alright, that sounds pretty cool. Notice the turquoise in some of your guitars. How does that work?
The turquoise is some of the wood that I use has natural character elements to it. What I call character, other people sometimes call it flaws. You know, they're little wormholes and cracks and various little fissures and just little things that over time add an interesting look to a rustic piece of wood like mesquite or pecan. And I like to fill those with turquoise, and so what I do is I actually get real turquoise. I don't just buy the powdered shit because that's kind of cool, but if you buy a consistently powdered thing, you know, you might as well have a machine cut out a channel for you and just put it in perfectly, and you know, then you might as well cover it with 7 or 8 layers of gloss, and at that point you don't know whether a machine did it or anybody did it. It looks cool, but it doesn't quite have the same rustic element, and I really like that. So what I do is I get real turquoise. I buy turquoise pieces and chips and things, and I hammer it down myself, and that way when you put it in there, you know, you can crush it up and you can get it in there with different sized chips and different sized pieces, and then take some powder and put it in along there, and it gives it a real natural look. So that's kind of how I do that. I love turquoise. I think on the right wood, like on mesquite, it makes it really look southwestern.
Hell yeah.
You wind up with the mesquite and the turquoise, and it looks very southwestern. But yeah, that's how that works.
Nice.
Yeah.
Alright, so what inspired the Birdsong guitar?
The Birdsong.
The Birdsong right there.
The Birdsong guitar. Okay. I started off as a guitar builder. I didn't get into this going, I'm going to design this great electric bass that people are going to really love, and I'm going to build company around it, and it's going to change my life. No, I was tinkering with guitars, and I got to the point where it was just like, maybe I should build one, you know, because here I am buying these other instruments, and then I'm just taking them apart and redoing them. And I have certain aesthetic things that I like the looks of. Like I've always loved the natural look of 70s SD Curly instruments and that era BC Rich instruments. And what else? The Paul Bigsby instruments from the late 1940s that influenced Leo Fender a lot, and you can look them up. And so I had all these designs for instruments over the years, but much like a band, you know, where it's like you might be a jazz band with reggae leanings and things like that, and you write a pop song, and the pop song hits, and so that's what you become known as to everybody else but you. And so I've always like been building guitars and designing guitars and lap steels and just, I mean, all kinds of shit. But the short scale electric basses, the short scale basses that we build for Birdsong and stuff is what really hit. But on the side, I was always doing guitars and stuff, and then we reached a point where it was like, I can introduce a guitar model and I don't have to worry about it, you know, supporting the company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we got things rolling. Now I can have a little bit of fun on the side in addition to these, you know, my loves, my little basses. And so I finally, I just put everything that I wanted visually and tonally and ergonomically, design-wise and wood-wise into one guitar. And that's what it turned out to be.
Nice. How long did it take to come to a fruition?
I've had this shape. I've had this shape in a notebook for probably 15 years. This particular pickup wired the way I wire it in a guitar is something I've been dicking around with for probably 7 or 8 years in a bunch of different guitars. Having the humbucker here and the single here was inspired by the Quarto bass. This is the Quarto bass control plate. And you know, so other, it's almost like I gathered pieces along the way, and so it took years, but actually to sit down and say, okay, I'm going to make the definitive Birdsong guitar that I'm going to put out there. Probably about a week of sitting there and sketching it out and going, I'm going to change that a little bit. And then you think, okay, well, you know, should I move that bridge pickup a little bit? Should I do this? Should I refine it? You know, different things like that. So it wasn't, you know, then I had to build one and watch those all translate into 3 dimensions. You know, like, is this going to work as an actual instrument? You know, does that curve work there? Does it allow it to sit on your lap well? Does that interfere with anything? Does this interfere with anything? You know, does it work as a whole together? You know, as a in 3D, and it did. That's one thing that time, you do this enough, and you get good enough at designing something and having designed so much stuff that you just go, I know that's going to work. Now, then the question is, does it work great, and does it do what I wanted it to do? Did I hit the mark completely? You know. But no, this was years and years and years of gray matter incubation, and then I just sort of vomited it all onto a page, and just tidied things up to where it really worked well as a whole. That was, yeah. But that shape, the basic shape, a long ass time.
Damn,
long ass time.
Looks fucking sweet. I'll tell you that much. So what's the most bitchin' car you've ever owned?
The most bitchin' car. I had a Pinto with a V8 in it. It was insane. You know, because everything I have is, I mean, they're shit boxes. You know, it's not like I have a you know, a warehouse full of Ferraris. I don't have an airplane hangar. You know, so they've all been you know, kind of weird and quirky, and but I had a Pinto that somebody stuffed a warmed over 302 in, and an 8-inch Maverick rear end under it, and it was the fastest thing I've ever owned, and I'm really happy It was on my bucket list to have a V8 Vega or a V8 Pinto because I have a 70s fixation. And it was such a horribly balanced car. Like, that car was attached to the engine. The engine was not put in the car. When that engine was dropped in that engine compartment, they attached the car to that engine. It sounds like it's semantics, but it's not. It was ridiculous. It didn't handle or stop worth a crap. But man, if you romped on that gas pedal and it shifted back into first, it would pull you into the other lane. It was like just the torque from the engine would move the whole car. It was the fastest thing I've ever owned, and I would say it was pretty bitchin'. I'm glad I crossed it off of my list before it crossed me off of its.
Yeah.
One that I look back on most fondly in the 1989 or 1990, I had a 1970 Dodge Charger. And it was one of the biggest shit boxes. I mean, this was back east, and it was big chunks of nothing held together by rust and Bondo, and I just had more fun with that car. You know, you drive it down the beach, and you pull the front end into the sand, and you just get out and lay on this big long hood, and listen to the waves crashing on the sand, and watch it get dark, and eat a pizza, and do other things. It was a good.
That sounds like a good time.
It was a good time. Yes.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So there's that about the cars. Yeah.
Damn. So how cute is Maggie? She's been
Maggie
she's been blowing up the internet last couple days.
Oh
so
God, Maggie May is a sweet little blue heeler. And I think she's just cuter than all get out. That's how cute she is. Her pictures are on the... I mean, she's got pictures on the website, and I put her pictures up and with the updates on Facebook for those of you listening in on this. Yeah, that's Maggie. Maggie's a sweetheart. Oh. She's wandered up our driveway one day, looking all haggard and not in a Merle sort of way, just all haggard and flea bitten and everything, and she's like, oh no. If you can hang with the no barking all the time and no, you're not going to poop all over the driveway and this is just not going to happen, and you be cool, you can stay. And she just was like, I got it, bro. And she just, you've ever heard like the acronym FIFO?
I have not.
Fit in or F off.
Damn.
Okay, that's kind of what it was. And I love her, but it's just like my life is not for like, lots of dependence and things, and a lot of chaos going on. I can't do that. So she totally fit in. She was like, I got it, boss. She's just been the coolest little person in the dog suit since.
Hell yeah, that's so precious.
You got any more?
Yeah.
These are stunners, man.
Has anyone ever lowballed the shit out of you for a guitar?
Has anyone ever lowballed the shit out of me on a guitar?
Yep. Like, there's like absolutely not. Sorry,
well,
but no.
I can't. It's tough for me because I wish I could build a $300 bass.
Yeah.
And I could, but I would have to have them made in China to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just become a QC guy, quality control guy, and stamp my name on them and put them out. And that's not really what I got into this to do, Somebody else wants to do that, that's great, with their thing, not mine. But, so it's kind of rough. I'm in this. I know that not everybody can afford what I do. I try to help out where I can. I try, there's arrangements that can be made, being as I run the place. But nobody's ever really just called up and said, I'll tell you what, that was $2,100? I'll give you $38 and a pack of bubble gum. No, that's never happened, I'll trade you my Ibanez Geo for it, straight out. No, that just doesn't happen. I did have somebody ask me if I could build them an instrument, if my finish was impervious to large amounts of fake blood.
Huh. Damn.
So that's even better than getting the shit lowballed out of you,
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
Yeah. Here's to that.
Damn.
All right, this concludes. Is that you got any more?
No, I'm good for now.
Okay. Hope you've enjoyed this little conversation. This has been a little peek behind the scenes. Shiner birthday beer. Cheers, man. Thanks for this episode of Beer and Bullshit. This is your buddy Scott from the Wing Feather Workshop and camera Chris, and we wish you excellence and prosperity and good cold beer.